Hello, how are you? Today is Monday, February 24th, 2025, and I am here to give you an update on my knitting for the past almost month. I intended to come back a couple weeks ago, but then I was like, oh, I'm so close to finishing this thing, so close to finishing this thing. So then I just kind of kept going and time got away from me, but here I am. It's been almost a month since my last update. So I have a few finished objects and progress on whips and a massive thrift yarn haul to share with you guys today. So yeah, the only hand knit item I'm wearing today is my socks. I'll put in a picture because I have slippers on, my feet are freezing. So yeah, I'll just put in a picture of my socks. So, okay, let's start with my finished objects for the month. So if you happened, well, welcome by the way, and welcome back if you've been here before. Last video I had shared all of my whips and I had kind of some goals for my month's making, so to speak. I wanted to finish a pair of socks. I wanted to finish my weekend slipover v-neck. I wanted to make a hat for a baby shower gift and potentially finish the sleeves and therefore finish my posset cardigan by Kate Davies Designs. So I have considerable progress, most of which I accomplished. I didn't quite finish the sleeves, but I am on the second sleeve now and I've got a few days left of February, so we'll see how far we get. I don't think I'll finish it completely, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be able to eke out a whole sleeve in garter stitch with color changing every 2 rows. Maybe. But anyway, I did finish my husband's socks. This was the first thing I was able to accomplish in this past month. These are just a 3x1 ribbed socks, heel flap and gusset. No pattern, just 72 stitches around. He did wear them and these have been washed and dried. So I don't block socks typically, unless like my husband's gift socks for Christmas, I blocked them, but that is not typical. Usually they go through the washer and they go through the dryer, even though I know that's not ideal. And yeah, that's what I do. So these have been washed and dried, worn, so maybe not looking perfect, but this is the Cowza socks. I don't remember the colorway, but I do have a Ravelry page where it says the yarn if you're interested. And then I also finished, it looks enormous, my weekend slipover v-neck. This is a petite knit pattern, my first ever petite knit pattern that I've knit. This was knit in thrifted yarn also. It was Reynolds Icelandic tweed in the color, I can't remember the color actually. I also have a Ravelry. So anyway, yeah, a Ravelry page about it. But it's a top-down construction, starting with the back, then you pick up from the front, do the shaping, and then finally after the underarms connect in the round. I did take the time to actually do the Italian bind off on all the ribbing, of which of course there's a lot of ribbing. And every time I actually take the time to do a sewn bind off, I fall in love with it again and realize how worth it is to me to take the time, because sometimes I tell myself it's not worth it. I don't care. I'm not going to. I'm just going to do a regular one. For example, in my Felix cardigan, I believe that was called for a tubular bind off. And I didn't do it. I just did a regular bind off in pattern and it looks fine. But then when I do like a sewn bind off Italian or tubular, I'm like, wow, it looks so good. So yeah, it was worth it. And I have a single picture of me wearing this because I wore this the other day. Got a few compliments on it actually, so that was cool. And it's very comfy, and I think I will continue to make some vest slipovers. I wasn't sure if I would like it, but I do like it, so I would call this a win. And I wasn't sure while I was knitting it whether or not it would be, but I like it. So, and I'm glad I did a slipover for this yarn because it is not next to skin soft. It would definitely bother me. Definitely bother me a lot. So, all right, I'm gonna pause 1 second. Okay, apologies if I'm in a slightly different position. I had to do something on my phone. Okay, so yes, I talked about the socks and the sleepover. What else did I do? I knit the hat that I wanted to knit. That was the stormy weather hat, also known as, originally called Uverslua. It's by Streke Sofa, and I have a picture, I'll put that in. That was knit as part of a baby shower gift for my, not really niece, but we call her niece, who is due in April. So that's exciting that she actually just received that yesterday. So yeah, like I said, I put in the picture, I used Yarnsmith's Merino DK in the color Fjord Blue. And I used one skein of it, just like a little under one skein of it, for the size 6 to 9 months. And I used the called for needles, and I thought the pattern was great. I would definitely make that pattern again for any babies or little people in my life that could use a hat. Because yeah, I think it was a great pattern. The construction was a bit different than what I'd ever done. And I really liked the yarn too. It was so soft. I actually had originally had 2 skeins of it that I bought for the project, not knowing how many skeins it would take. And it only used one, so I had one left. So I actually bought another skein in the same color, or dye lot rather, because I just placed an order at Wool Warehouse that you'll probably see next time. But I bought one other skein so I can make somebody else a hat with that yarn with the same color to use up the other one. I'll use an adult size, you know, so I can, or I'll make an adult size hat, so hopefully use up more of the yarn. Anyway, yeah, so that was a success. And then the last goal that I had to try to accomplish this past month was to finish my posset sweater or cardigan by Kate Davies Designs. So far I did finish the one sleeve entirely, which I think at my last thing I was maybe about here, you know, I wasn't very far in. I think there's 23 decreases for my size in this pattern, and I was about, I don't know, 5 to 8 in, somewhere in there. Now, the thing that takes long with this, this is just garter stitch and it's fingering weight, but the thing that takes long is all the color changes and the end management. It gets to be a lot. I don't mind really knitting sleeves, especially since I have small circumference needles for it. I don't enjoy magic loop, and DPNs are okay, but they're not my preferred method. My preferred method is small circumference needles, and with that I feel like I can just usually zoom through sleeves or any other small circumference knitting, no issue. But the changing of the colors, it slows you down. Every 2 rows you got to change colors, and then there's all these ends to manage. So this cardigan's gonna be worth it. I'm gonna love it. I can't wait till it's finished. It's so fun. But you can, I'll show you, it's the other side. So the construction of this, you know, like many cardigans, you're going to do the body first, right? And then you have to pick up for the neckband. And there's no button, so I'm just saying neckband. Before I could pick up for the neckband, I had to weave in all of the ends for the body, which I did, and it took me forever. Then I did the neckband and wove in those ends over here, and did the whole I-cord bind off all the way around. So with the sleeve, obviously you're ending up with just as many, if not more ends. I'm going to turn it inside out to show you. I decided, instead of weaving them in, which I was dreading, I decided to try braiding them. So I actually probably broke some rules here, but I knotted where the ends were meeting, basically like the seam where you're color changing. I knotted the ends together, and then I braided them all the way down to here, and this is just secured. I'll probably end up snipping these ends because this is going to be like in my armpit, you know, basically. I want it to braid up away from the cuff instead of down. So it's kind of like doing a French braid. And I tried it on, and I don't think it's going to bother me, even though it is a little bit bulky. I think it's going to work its way down, and it's going to be okay. So that's what I'm going to do for the other sleeve, which is a relief. That was so much faster than weaving in all the ends. So that's the plan for the other sleeve as well. I am only like 2 decreases in, so I have 21 to go, plus another two sets of the 9, so another 18 rounds plus after the decrease rounds, and then the I-cord bind off, and then the end. So I can probably do it pretty quickly. As long as my wrists and hands cooperate. I had to take a couple days off because my hands were really bothering me. Sometimes I'll sleep like all curled up like this, and I did that one night, the other night, slept all night like that, I think, and I woke up and my wrists and hands were really, really hurting. So I rested for a couple days. I've been doing stretches, and I don't want to make it worse. I think it's carpal tunnel, which I've had for a while, so I just have to, baby it a little bit. So yeah, we'll see. I probably won't finish this the exact end of February, but maybe beginning of March. That's the plan, because I want to cast on a million things, and I probably will be casting on a bunch of stuff once this is finished. Oh, there is one other thing that I had a goal for February, and that was for my Evina cardigan. I'll put in a picture, by Heidi Peterson. My goal was to finish crocheting all the granny squares. I needed 18, and I have done that. I still need to weave in ends for probably 10 of them, I think. So yeah, this is with thrifted yarn, thrifted vintage fancy hand knitting yarn that my husband found at the thrift store. So that's cool. 2 of my projects are with thrifted yarn this month. Actually, a third one is, and the socks that I am wearing today was with thrifted yarn too, which you saw a picture of. So yeah, so this upcoming month until next time, I'm hoping to have these all joined together and potentially like the bottom ribbing done. We'll see about the bottom ribbing, but all joined together, ends woven in would be good. Slow progress with this one, but that'll be good. Okay. I do have one other thing that I cast on randomly. Oh, and now I'm not thinking what it's called. Hold on one second. I actually have the pattern right here. It is called Be Simple Shawl, which is a free pattern. And it doesn't say who is the designer here. So I'll make sure I include that down below. It's a free pattern that I found on Ravelry, and it's just a garter stitch shawl to use up like a skein of fingering weight yarn or some DK weight yarn. And this kind of actually brings me into my massive yarn haul, which I have to share with you guys. This is one of the things that I thrifted. Now, okay, my husband and I like to thrift. A lot of my clothes are thrifted. A lot of my yarn is thrifted. A lot of house stuff we have is thrifted. It's a nice way to save money as long as you don't go crazy. Like anything, you could still overspend, right? Even though you're saving a lot of money on nice stuff. But in any case, I always look at the yarn. And most of the time I'm finding things that I'm not interested in, like, full acrylic or full cotton or whatever. Nothing against it. It's just not my favorite to work with. But in the past month, a couple times we went to the thrift store and there was a lot of yarn, and I'm talking wool, I'm talking some silk, hand dyed in some cases. Some of it seems hand spun, you will see. So I got a lot of it. I didn't get everything that was there, but I got a lot of it, and I'm really excited about it. It does increase my stash some, which I'm not destashing things or is trying to stash down, but I did say, like, when I was planning, it was like the planning dreaming video, like I've got a decent amount of stash and I do need to use it. So, and part of it is like, okay, we thrifted all this yarn, now I need to figure out what to do with it, right? And other stuff is sweater quantities, which I need to use up. So anyway, that's where I'm at. But I felt like I couldn't leave it behind. Didn't want to leave it behind. So here, I have it. So this is, I believe, hand dyed. It was in a hank. There was no tag on it, and it's mostly green with like a section of yellow and a section of blue. And I believe it's a light fingering weight wool. There could potentially be some silk in it. There is some shine to it, but I think it's wool. And this is what I'm knitting the Be Simple shawl with, which is a very simple and just lovely mindless pattern. So I'm just gonna knit till I'm basically out of the yarn, and then I'll do the little picot bind off on the one end, and it'd be just like a little shawl scarf situation. So that's nice for like when you're tired and want something completely mindless and you don't want to change colors like in the sleeve. So I just randomly cast it on the other day. I'm using size 6, which is a 4mm needle. These are the Lantern Moon needles, which I'm trying out. I own them now. My husband got them for me for Valentine's Day. That's very nice of him and sweet. Because I have had a Knit Picks interchangeable set for a long time that, I mean, like over a decade. I've used it a lot and I'm going to continue to use it, but yeah, some of the needles are like needing to be re-glued and whatever, so I was looking for a new interchangeable set. So yeah, I got that, which is awesome. Lantern Moon, I'm liking them. The join is not as smooth as I would hope, but they are a swivel cord, so you know, you give and you take. The needles are beautiful. I do like them. My absolute favorite needles though are the ChiaoGoo fixed circular needles. So there is that, but okay. All right, I have a massive bag full of yarn. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so one thing that was not thrifted, on Valentine's Day, we went out to lunch and went to a couple stores. We went to a local yarn store, which I had never been to before. Local-ish yarn store. I mean, it was a little bit away. Wool Bearers down in Mount Holly. Excuse me. And I gotta say, that store is huge and they have massive selection. And I was a bit overwhelmed. And also I was like, this was before I thrifted any of this, by the way. So there's that too. I probably wouldn't have even bought yarn if I had already thrifted all this, but I did pick out just this Malabrigo Rios in the color Virgo, which I think I'll make myself a hat. Love, 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 love the colorway. So yeah, so that was my Valentine's Day. We went out to lunch and date stuff. He got to go to like a tobacco shop because my husband is all into pipes and cigars now and is restoring pipes, which was pretty cool. Anyway, but that was my, you know, interest. So, okay, now into the thrifted yarn. Firstly, the first thrift, sorry, let me get to the one at the bottom because it matches or goes. Okay, first thing that happened was I thrifted, I have 6 of these in the cream color, which is begging to be a cabled sweater of some sort. It's begging for it. So I believe this is like an Aran weight. Heavy worsted maybe, or just worsted to Aran. It's worsted to Aran weight. And I've got 6 of them. Same time, I got 4 of these ones, which I believe are the same weight. They're wool. They've got some vegetable matter in there. And like I said, I have 4 of them. So I'm not sure if I can get a full sweater out of these ones without maybe some other input of yarn. I was thinking maybe like a color work yoke sweater with this as the main part. But we'll see how far I get. Like I'll probably make a sweater out of this first, see what I have left, and then decide what to do with this. I'm just gonna set things here. Okay, and then, let's see. There was a bag full of hand-dyed yarn for $2.50. This was in it. This is Sweet Gum Fiber Arts. It's a Magnolia Sock mini set. So there's 10 minis here. 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon in the colors, or the color set called Spring Equinox. Never knit anything from Sweet Gum Fiber Arts before, and these feel really soft and nice, and the colors are really pretty. I'm not sure what I'll do with it yet, but that's kind of the fun of it too. When you thrift yarn, then you have to be creative about, you know, you're already being creative because it's fiber arts, but then you have to be creative about like, oh, this is, I found this, I'm not just buying it new. Not that I don't buy new yarn, because I definitely do. But yeah, it's just an additional level of challenge sometimes. So this is Koigu KPPPM, which it's 100% merino. Oh, Painter's Palette Premium Merino. It's 50 grams and it's 100% merino, like, I don't know, no nylon or anything, so I wouldn't use it for socks, but pretty. Probably like in a shawl or something. Then this is Knit Antics Happy Pills. This is a Blueberries and Cream Spring Speckles collection in fingering weight, and this is 100% silk. This is a very thin, oh no, that was just, oh, for a second thought I was looking at something else. So this is a fingering weight silk yarn. This was in that bag with this. This was just $1.99 separate. I'm trying to find what was else in that bag because I was like, I could not believe it. Okay, this was in that bag of hand dyed too. It's for the $2.50. These are Little Fox Knits Arctic Fox fingering. There's 2 of them and they're in the colorway Aladdin. It came like this. I guess it was shipped that way. So it's like a sing-along playbill. I don't know. Super pretty colors. Is there anything else in the bag? Oh yeah, this was in that bag too. This is Create Yarn Works in 8515 Super Rush Merino to Nylon. Fingering weight, obviously, Cabernet is the colorway. Okay, and then I think everything else is from the second thrift trip, which was insane too. Yeah, so these, I believe these are both Plymouth yarn, Trabajos del Peru. This one has the tag though, this one doesn't. But they're, yeah, I don't know. What was I gonna say? Worsted weight? I think these will be really fun hats. Merino wool. These were $1.99 a piece. This is Rowan Felted Tweed in the color Cinnamon, which I've never tried Rowan Felted Tweed before. This is Schaefer Yarns Diane. It's sport weight, I think. 58% mohair, 42% wool. Hand painted yarn. I got it for $2.99. This, I'm thinking I may have enough for it to be the contrasting color in a Pressed Flowers vest. I don't have enough for it to be the main color, but contrasting color I could. So it might be good with like a dark slate gray, or even like a dark red color potentially. And then in a bag, these were together. This, I'm not sure what this is. It's a very pretty color. I'm giving it to my daughter. She says she can put it in her crochet blanket. So, but this was Ella Ray Palermo, and this is a DK weight wool color 8 dye lot 1. I'm not sure what I'll do with this, but it's pretty. Then, I mean, this is insane. I couldn't believe how much I found, and also I was later like, maybe I shouldn't have got all this, but in the moment you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm finding this. This is Green Mountain Spinnery Sock Art, which is Meadow. It's 50% mohair, 50% wool. I don't see the colorway, but it's like a dark green with some blue. I'm thinking a small shawl. I saw one from Lisa Much. Maybe I'll put in a picture that I think this would look nice as. another one, this was $1.99. Wool in the Woods is the brand name. It's half superfine alpaca, half wool. This is the Blair base in the color Thief in the Night. This is Song Mountain Alpaca, 100% mohair. This is Sport / DK. And I'm not sure what I'll do with this yet. Feels a little bit prickly on my neck, but not on my head. So anyway, I don't know. Then I've got 3 skeins. I weighed this. This is actually a full skein. It just doesn't have its tag. So 3 skeins of the Barocco Pure Merino, which is 100% extra fine merino. I don't know what color it's saying. 8652. And then I think that's just 2 more things. This is hand dyed. It's wool for sure. The Camo Collection. I don't know. It's missing part of its other tag. But not sure. And then this is the last thing. This is hand dyed mohair. Or not mohair, boucle, excuse me. Lorna's hand dyed yarns. So it is mohair wool blend. It's boucle Grace base in the colorway Dusk. And I've got 2 full skeins of that. These, I do not itch my forehead. I'm thinking I will put in a picture. I saw a hat and mittens. There's a separate pattern, but they're set together. They're separate patterns from each other, but they're set, they go together. That like the cuff of the hat or brim of the hat and the cuff of the mittens are boucle, and then you do plain wool for the rest of it. I thought that might be really nice. And then maybe makes another thing for my mom of that or something. I don't know, we'll see. So that's my insane massive thrift yarn haul. I did end up also, I've ordered some yarn for some other ideas I have, one of which being a scrappy blanket where I'm going to hold fingering weight with white. So I ordered the white for that and some other yarns for projects that I have planned, so I better sprout some extra arms and start knitting like crazy. But yeah, I think that's all I've got for you. So I'm gonna work on finishing my posset cardigan and join those granny squares together. And then I'm hoping to cast on a bunch of stuff, so you will see some new projects for me moving forward. I hope you guys are enjoying the end of February and that your projects are bringing you joy, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye!